Have you ever looked at someone who seems unstoppable? Someone who achieves every goal they set, whether it's building a successful business, writing a best-selling book, mastering a new language, or staying physically fit, and wondered, how do they do it? What makes them different from the rest? The answer, more often than not, isn't what people think. It's not because they're more talented. It's not because they're luckier. It's not even because they're smarter. The real difference, the silent force behind extraordinary success, is consistency. 1. Why we often miss the truth. When we admire successful people, we tend to focus on their big achievements. We see the finished product, the fame, the money, the recognition. But we rarely pay attention to the process that brought them there. We forget the thousands of hours of quiet work, the early mornings and late nights, the days when they wanted to quit, but chose to keep going. What we see is the highlight reel. What we don't see is the grind. And it's that daily grind, that decisions show up every single day, that defines consistency. 2. The misunderstood ingredient of success. In a world addicted to instant results, consistency often gets overlooked. We want fast wins, quick transformations, immediate gratification. We start a new habit, and if we don't see results in a week, we get discouraged. We start a new goal, and if we face failure, we assume we're not good enough. But here's the truth. Consistency is the slow magic that transforms ordinary into extraordinary. It's not flashy. It's not exciting. It doesn't offer quick rewards. But it's the most powerful tool you'll ever use. 3. What does it really mean to be consistent? Let's break it down simply. Being consistent means doing what matters, even when you don't feel like it. Showing up even on bad days. Sticking to the plan when distractions scream for your attention. Repeating the right actions, day after day. It's not about being perfect. It's about being present. Consistency is not about intensity. It's about sustainability. Anyone can go hard for a day. Few people can keep going for a year. That's why consistent people rise. Because they choose to stay in the game long after others have quit. 4. The psychology behind consistency. Why is it so hard to stay consistent? Because our brains are wired for comfort. We love ease. We love excitement. We love variety. Consistency, in contrast, feels boring. But the same brain that resists repetition also craves results. Here's the paradox. Your brain doesn't want to process, but it wants a reward. Consistency is the bridge between those two desires. It aligns your short-term discipline with your long-term vision. 5. Consistency builds identity. Every time you repeat an action, you're not just forming a habit, you're forming an identity. When you read every day, you become a reader. When you exercise regularly, you become an athlete. When you write every morning, you become a writer. Small acts done consistently shape who you believe you are. The more consistent you are, the more confident you become. Why? Because you start to trust yourself. You begin to see yourself as someone who follows through, and that is life-changing. 6. The compound effect of consistency. Think of consistency like a snowball rolling down a hill. At first, it's small, almost invisible, but as it keeps rolling, it gathers more snow. It grows. Eventually, it becomes unstoppable. That's what happens when you stay consistent with your goals. The results may not show up right away, but over time, they multiply. This is called the compound effect. Reading 10 pages a day may not feel like much, but over a year, that's over 3,600 pages, the equivalent of 12 to 15 books. Writing 300 words a day may feel small, but in 6 months, you'll have written a novel. Tiny steps, done daily, lead to massive transformation. 7. Real-life examples of consistency. Let's look at some of the world's most admired figures. Stephen King, the famous author, writes 2,000 words a day, every single day, even on holidays. That's why he's written more than 60 books. Serena Williams, one of the greatest tennis players in history, practices relentlessly, not just when there's a match, but when no one is watching. Elon Musk, despite being the CEO of multiple companies, is known for working 80 to 100 hours a week, dividing his time with discipline and consistency. J.K. Rowling wrote the first Harry Potter book in cafes, while working as a single mother on government support. Page by page, word by word, she stayed consistent and changed the world of literature forever. None of these people were born superhuman. They simply learned to stay consistent. 8. The emotional side of consistency. Consistency is not just a strategy. It's an emotional journey. There will be days when you feel tired, you feel discouraged, you feel like nothing is working, you feel alone. These are the moments where most people give up. But if you choose to stay in motion, even when your emotions don't support it, that's when the breakthrough comes. Consistency builds emotional resilience. It teaches you how to work through discomfort, and that resilience becomes your superpower. 9. Why consistency is freedom. Some people say consistency feels restrictive, but in reality, consistency is freedom. When you're consistent, you have more energy because your habits run on autopilot. You have more time because you waste less on indecision. You have more results because your actions align with your vision. Freedom doesn't come from doing whatever you feel like. It comes from building the life you truly want, one consistent action at a time. 10. The journey you're about to begin. This audiobook is not about hype. It's not about motivation that fades. It's about building a lifestyle, a mindset that doesn't rely on emotion but on commitment. In the coming chapters, you'll learn why we struggle with consistency, how to build habits that stick, the difference between motivation and discipline, how to make consistency part of your identity, and how to create a system that ensures long-term success. Each chapter will give you tools, insights, and real-life examples to help you not just start, but continue the journey of becoming your best self, because that's the power of consistency. 11. Your challenge starts now. As you listen to this audiobook, ask yourself, what do I really want to achieve? What habits will help me get there? What small action can I take today and repeat tomorrow, no matter your past, no matter your current struggles? Consistency can rewrite your future. And the best part? You don't need to be extreme. You just need to be consistent. Final thought, show up. If there's one message to take away from this introduction, let it be this. Show up, even when you're tired, even when it's hard, even when you're unsure. Show up, and the magic will happen. Not overnight, but over time, because in the end, consistency always wins. Chapter 1. What is consistency? What is consistency? It's a word we hear so often in self-help books, motivational videos, and success stories. But how many of us truly understand it? Even fewer live by it. Consistency is not a trend. It's not something you do once and forget. It's a mindset. It's a lifestyle. It's the secret ingredient behind every long-term achievement you've ever admired. 1. The simple definition. Just show up. Consistency at its core is a decision to show up, not once, not when it's convenient, but every day. It's brushing your teeth in the morning without thinking. It's showing up to the gym even when your muscles ache. It's choosing to read one page when you're tired. It's waking up at 5 a.m. to chase your goals before the world even opens its eyes. Consistency is not a big dramatic effort once in a while. It's the small, quiet, determined choice, repeated until the world starts to take notice. 2. The misconception. Consistency is not equal to perfection. One of the biggest myths is this. To be consistent, you must be perfect. That's wrong. Perfection kills progress. Perfection is a trap that tells you, if you can't do it right, don't do it at all. But consistency says, do it anyway. Do it messy. Do it tired. Do it scared. Just don't quit. Progress is made not by being flawless, but by being persistent. Missing a day doesn't ruin your journey. Quitting does. 3. Consistency is commitment in action. Consistency is the daily proof of commitment. When you commit to something, a goal, a routine, a dream, it's just words at first. But when you show up every day, even when it's tough, that commitment becomes real. Want to lose weight? Showing up for your workouts, even when you don't feel like it, makes a commitment real. Want to grow your business? Putting in the work every day, even when no one sees, proves that you mean it. Consistency is what separates dreamers from doers. 4. Consistency builds momentum. In the beginning, showing up feels hard. You have to fight your old habits. You have to resist distractions. You have to push past self-doubt. But something powerful happens when you keep going. You gain momentum. Suddenly, what used to be difficult becomes your new normal. The 6 a.m. alarm? Not so bad. The daily journaling? Feels natural. The morning walk? You start looking forward to it. That's the magic of momentum. It makes the hard stuff easier. But you only reach it through consistency. 5. The invisible progress. Here's another truth. Consistency often feels unrewarding at first. You can eat healthy for a week and not see results. You can post content every day and hear silence. You can practice a skill daily and still feel stuck. But this doesn't mean it's not working. It just means that the progress is still invisible. Most success happens beneath the surface before it appears above. Just like a seed growing roots before it breaks the soil. Trust the process. Keep showing up. The results will reveal themselves in time. 6. Consistency is the foundation of all success. Every great success story shares one thing. Consistency. Not luck. Not talent. Not some overnight miracle. It's the grind. The discipline. The willingness to repeat the same simple steps over and over. While everyone else gives up, you've heard the stories. A musician practices for 10 years before their first hit. An athlete trains every day for one gold medal moment. An entrepreneur builds quietly before the world pays attention. These people aren't superhuman. They're just consistent. 7. Even when it's hard. Let's talk about the real test of consistency. What do you do when it's hard? When you're tired? When you're discouraged? When no one is watching? When you're not getting results? That's the battlefield of consistency. That's when 90% of people give up. But the truth is, if you can keep going in those moments, when it's lonely, when it's boring, when it's painful, you win, not immediately, but inevitably. 8. Consistency is a habit, not a feeling. Don't wait to feel motivated. Motivation is a spark. It's unreliable. Consistency is a system. It's brushing your teeth every day, not because you're excited, but because it's a non-negotiable. You don't have to be excited. You just have to decide. When you commit to consistency, you remove the need for constant emotional energy. You stop asking yourself, do I feel like it? And instead say, it's who I am. That identity shift is what turns habits into a lifestyle. 9. The power of repetition. There's a reason athletes drill the same move 1,000 times. Why pianists play the same scale daily. Why language learners review the same flashcard again and again. Repetition deepens mastery. The more you do something, the more it becomes second nature. The more you repeat a habit, the more it becomes part of who you are. You may not notice it daily, but over weeks and months, you evolve. You change not in a flash, but in the repetition of doing small things consistently. 10. No one is watching, but do it anyway. We live in a world obsessed with validation. We want likes, shares, applause. But real consistency is built in the quiet moments, when no one is watching, when no one says thank you, when no one notices. Do it anyway. Write the blog no one reads, until they do. Practice a skill in your room, until you shine on stage. Put in the hours, because the work matters more than the attention. Consistency is not a performance. It's a personal contract. 11. Consistency is the gateway to confidence. Here's something powerful. Confidence doesn't come first. Consistency does. Confidence is built by keeping promises to yourself. When you say, I'll work out today, and you do, you trust yourself more. When you say, I'll write every morning, and follow through, you feel proud. When you stay consistent, even with small tasks, you feel unstoppable. Every action is a vote for the person you're becoming. Confidence isn't found. It's earned through consistency. 12. The pain of inconsistency. Let's also acknowledge the flip side. Inconsistency brings pain. It creates frustration. Why am I not improving? Shame. Why can't I stick to anything? Self-doubt. Maybe I'm just not meant for this. Regret. I could have been so much further by now. The good news? You can break the cycle. Every time you choose consistency, even once, you take back control. You start rewriting your story. 13. You don't need motivation. You need a reason. Why do some people keep going when it's hard? Because they know their why. Your why gives your consistency power. A father shows up every day at work because his children depend on him. A student studies every night because they dream of becoming a doctor. An artist paints daily because it heals their soul. What's your reason? When your why is strong enough, your excuses get weaker. 14. Make it a non-negotiable. What if your goal wasn't optional? What if showing up became like brushing your teeth? Automatic, expected, non-negotiable? You don't argue with yourself every morning about whether to go to work. You just go. Make your habit the same way. Take the choice out of it. You don't have to decide. You've already decided. Now you just show up. 15. Start small. Stay steady. You don't need to change everything today. Consistency is not about doing more. It's about doing what matters regularly. Start small. 5 push-ups. 1 page of reading. 10 minutes of focus work. It's not the size of the action. It's a repetition that changes you. Over time, small efforts become powerful routines. Final thought. Define yourself by what you do daily. If you want to change your life, change your daily behavior, not your goals, not your dreams, your actions. Who you are is what you do consistently. Consistency is how you prove to the world and to yourself that you're serious. Because in the end, success isn't owned by the talented or the lucky. It's owned by those who simply refuse to quit. So what is consistency? It's showing up day after day, week after week, even when you're tired, even when you're unmotivated, even when no one is watching. It's not about being perfect. It's about being persistent. And that is how you win. Chapter 2. Why we struggle to stay consistent. Let's be honest. Staying consistent is hard. Most of us don't struggle because we're lazy or incapable. We struggle because life is full of distractions, challenges, and shifting emotions. We want to do the right things. We make plans. We get motivated. We start strong. But somewhere along the way, we stop. Why? Let's break down the real reasons we struggle to stay consistent. And more importantly, how to overcome them. 1. We get distracted easily. We live in the age of distraction. A single ping on your phone can steal your focus for 20 minutes. One scroll through social media can turn into hours. One video becomes 10. Our minds are under attack, constantly bombarded by entertainment, advertisements, and endless options. It's not your fault that you get distracted, but it is your responsibility to protect your focus, because consistency requires attention. You can't build good habits if your attention is always stolen. 2. We chase instant gratification. Consistency demands patience. But modern life has trained us to expect everything instantly. We can order food in 3 taps, watch movies in 5 seconds, get answers from AI in 2 seconds, swipe through 100 people in 10 minutes. We're used to fast. But personal growth, success, mastery, they are slow. They require days, weeks, months, sometimes years of steady effort. And when the results don't come quickly, we feel discouraged. We ask, what's the point? Why am I even trying? And then we quit. But here's the truth. The slower the progress, the deeper the roots. If you're not seeing results yet, it doesn't mean it's not working. It just means real change is happening below the surface. 3. We expect perfection. One of the biggest killers of consistency is a desire to be perfect. You might start a diet and eat clean for 3 days, then have a slice of pizza. And instead of moving on, you feel guilty. So you say, I failed, and you give up. You miss one workout, one journal entry, one study session. And suddenly your brain says, it's over. But it's not. Consistency is not about never missing. It's about not giving up after you miss. A single mistake doesn't erase your progress. Quitting does. The real question is, can you forgive yourself and keep going? Because the people who succeed aren't perfect. They're just the ones who keep showing up. 4. We let emotions control our actions. Let's be honest. Most people only take action when they feel like it. But feelings are unpredictable. Some days you feel motivated. Some days you feel tired. Some days you feel discouraged. Some days you just feel nothing. If your habits depend on your mood, you'll never be consistent. You can't build your life around your emotions. You have to build it around your decisions. Ask yourself, who do I want to be? What would that version of me do right now? Then act accordingly, regardless of how you feel. That's discipline. That's consistency. 5. We don't have a clear goal. It's hard to stay consistent if you don't know what you're working toward. Imagine this. You're running, but there's no finish line, no map, no direction. Eventually, you'll stop, not because you're weak, but because you're lost. Clarity is power. When your goal is clear, you have a reason to keep going. So define it. Do you want to lose 10 kilograms? Build a business that gives you freedom? Learn English fluently to travel the world? Save enough money to retire early? Whatever it is, write it down. Make it real. Make it specific. Because vague goals equals vague effort. 6. We try to do too much at once. Another trap, doing too much too soon. You set 10 goals. Try 5 new habits. Overhaul your whole life overnight. But your brain can't handle that kind of overload. So what happens? You burn out. You forget. You quit. Sustainable change starts small. 1 habit. 1 action. 1 promise to keep. The key is not to do everything. It's to do one thing consistently and build from there. 7. We rely on motivation. Motivation is powerful, but it's also unreliable. It comes and goes. It fades with bad weather, bad moods, or bad days. If you only act when you're motivated, you'll be inconsistent forever. Instead, build systems. Create routines. Use reminders. Track your habits. Design your environment to support success. Don't rely on motivation. Rely on structure. Because consistency doesn't happen by accident. It happens by design. 8. We fear failure. Sometimes we stop showing up because we're afraid. Afraid we'll fail again. Afraid we're not good enough. Afraid people will judge us. So we play it safe. We avoid the work. We protect ourselves from disappointment. But here's the irony. Avoiding effort guarantees failure. Trying and failing is painful, but not trying at all? That's permanent regret. Don't let fear stop you from becoming who you were meant to be. 9. We don't see immediate rewards. Human beings are wired to respond to immediate feedback. If something feels good now, we want more of it. If it feels boring or painful now, we avoid it. That's why scrolling on your phone is easier than studying. Or eating junk food feels better than prepping a healthy meal. The reward is now. But consistency often asks us to trade short-term pleasure for long-term rewards. The gym hurts today, but builds strength tomorrow. Studying feels dull, but opens doors later. Saving money is hard, but creates freedom in the future. To stay consistent, you have to learn to delay gratification. You have to say, I'm doing this today for the person I'll become tomorrow. 10. We don't track our progress. Another reason people quit? They feel like nothing's happening. But the truth is, progress is slow. So slow, you might not even notice it. That's why tracking is powerful. When you write down your efforts, you can look back and see, I've worked out 12 times this month. I've meditated 20 days in a row. I've saved $300 by eating at home. Those numbers tell a story. You're growing. And when you see growth, you feel motivated to keep going. 11. We lack accountability. It's easy to skip a task when no one knows. But when you have accountability, someone checking in, encouraging you, or holding you to your word, your consistency improves. It could be a friend you text after each workout, a mentor who asks about your progress, a community that celebrates your wins, even a calendar or habit tracker you don't want to break. You don't need pressure. You need support. Consistency grows faster when you're not alone. 12. We forget our why. In the grind of daily tasks, It's easy to forget why you started. You wake up, go through the motions, and lose sight of the bigger picture. But your why is your fuel. It reminds you why you're waking up early, why you're sacrificing now, why this matters. So pause. Revisit your purpose. Write it down. Say it aloud. Feel it deeply. Your why will carry you when willpower fades. 13. We don't believe in ourselves. Sometimes the real struggle isn't in the habit. It's in the self-doubt. You think, I'm not disciplined enough. I've failed before, I'll fail again. I'll never be like those successful people. But here's the truth. You don't need to believe in yourself fully at first. You just need to believe in your next step. Show up today. Do the task. Keep the promise. Each time you follow through, your confidence grows. And over time, you'll look back and say, I didn't think I could, but I did. 14. We let one bad day turn into many. Life happens. You'll miss a day. You'll slip up. You'll feel off track. That's normal. But don't let one bad day become two. Don't let a weekend off turn into quitting entirely. Forgive yourself and return to the habit immediately. The most consistent people in the world, they mess up too. The difference? They come back quickly. 15. We underestimate the power of boredom. Not every day will feel exciting. In fact, most consistent routines are boring. But that's not a problem. That's the point. You're building a life where success comes from repetition, not random bursts of motivation. Don't chase excitement. Chase growth. And remember, boredom is not the enemy. It's a sign that you're doing the real work. Final message. It's not you. It's the system. If you've struggled to stay consistent, don't shame yourself. You're not broken. You're not weak. You're human. The real problem isn't you. It's the way we approach consistency. We expect perfection. We rely on motivation. We fear slow progress. We forget our why. But now you know better. Success isn't built in a day. It's built daily. So let go of guilt. Let go of shame. And pick up where you left off. Because you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be persistent. Chapter 3. The 3 pillars of consistency. If you want to become consistent, you need a strong foundation. Something solid. Something unshakable. Something that will hold you steady, even when motivation fades, when life gets hard, or when results take time. That foundation is built on 3 powerful pillars. Clarity, know what you want. Be specific. Simplicity, start small. Focus on one habit at a time. Accountability, track your progress. Tell someone. Stay responsible. These 3 pillars are not just tips. They are the core principles behind every consistent person you admire. Let's break them down one by one. Brick Pillar 1. Clarity, know what you want. Consistency starts with knowing exactly where you're going. Think of an archer with a bow. If there's no target, what do they aim at? If the target keeps moving, how do they know when to shoot? The same applies to your life. You need clarity. A clear vision of what you want to achieve. Vague goals create vague effort. But clear goals drive focused, consistent action. Magnifying glass still to the left why clarity matters. Without clarity, you don't know where to begin. You get distracted by random opportunities. You feel overwhelmed and scattered. You don't feel any urgency. But with clarity, you wake up with purpose. You make decisions faster. You know what to say yes or no to. You stay motivated longer. In short, clarity fuels direction. Direction fuels consistency. Memo how to gain clarity. Here are 3 simple ways to build clarity. Write down your goal. Be specific. Not I want to get fit, but I want to lose 10 kilograms in 3 months. Know your why. Ask, why does this matter to me? Your answer is your emotional fuel. Visualize success. See yourself already achieving your goal. Feel it. Believe it. Let that image guide your actions. Clarity is the difference between wandering and winning. When your mind is clear, your actions become consistent. Brick Pillar 2. Simplicity. Start small. We all want big results. We want transformation. We want to change our lives overnight. But the truth is, big change starts small. Simplicity is the secret weapon of consistency. Warning, the danger of overcomplication. Most people quit because they try to do too much at once. They say, I'll wake up at 5 a.m., go to the gym, meditate, journal, read 50 pages, cook healthy meals, all in 1 week. But your brain can't handle that kind of overload. So what happens? You burn out, you miss a day, you feel like a failure, and you stop. The problem wasn't you. It was the complexity of your plan. White heavy check mark why simplicity works. Simplicity creates momentum. When something feels easy, you're more likely to do it. And when you do it repeatedly, it becomes automatic, a habit. Small wins build confidence. Small actions build routines. Small changes build big results. Puzzle piece how to simplify your consistency plan. Here's how to apply the power of simplicity. Choose one habit to start with. Don't try to change everything. Pick one area, health, learning, business, and focus. Make it easy to start. Want to build a reading habit? Start with 2 pages a day. Want to work out? Do 10 push-ups. Want to meditate? Try 1 minute. Attach it to something you already do. This is called habit stacking. Example, after brushing your teeth, do 10 squats. After pouring your coffee, read 1 page. Use triggers and cues. Leave your journal on your bed. Put your running shoes by the door. These are visual reminders to act. Brain the power of the 2-minute rule. James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, popularized the 2-minute rule. When you start a new habit, it should take less than 2 minutes to do. This sounds simple, but it's brilliant because starting is the hardest part. Once you begin, momentum takes over. You're not building the perfect habit. You're building the identity of someone who shows up. Brick pillar 3, accountability. Stay responsible. You can have clarity. You can keep it simple. But without accountability, you'll eventually drift. We are more likely to follow through when we know someone is watching. Eyes why accountability works. Here's what happens when you're accountable. You think twice before quitting. You stay honest with your actions. You feel supported, not alone. You celebrate wins together. Accountability turns personal goals into shared responsibility. Bust-in silhouette types of accountability that work. Self-accountability. Use journals, apps, or calendars to track your habits. Seeing a streak or a checklist motivates you to keep going. Social accountability. Tell a friend, mentor, or group about your goal. Share your progress weekly. Even posting on social media can create pressure to stay consistent. Professional accountability. Hire a coach, personal trainer, or teacher. Paying for support makes you value the process more. Environmental accountability. Design your surroundings to help you stay consistent. Want to write daily? Set up a desk that inspires you. Want to eat clean? Remove junk food from your kitchen. Bar chart how to track your progress. Tracking is one of the most underrated tools for consistency. It gives you a visual sense of progress, a reason to keep going, a record of your effort, data to improve your approach. Use a simple system. Check boxes, habit apps, bullet journals, Google Sheets. The method doesn't matter. The habit of tracking does. Counter the power of don't break the chain. This is a strategy used by comedian Jerry Seinfeld. Each day you complete your habit, put a big X on your calendar. After a few days, you'll have a chain. Your new goal? Don't break the chain. You'll be surprised how powerful this simple system is. Because we hate losing momentum. Compass putting it all together. Let's say your goal is to become fluent in English. Here's how you'd apply the 3 pillars. 1. Clarity. Goal. Speak English confidently in 6 months. Why? To travel, get a better job, or study abroad. Vision. You imagine yourself speaking fluently with a smile. 2. Simplicity. Start with 10 minutes of speaking practice daily. Focus only on speaking, not grammar or writing at first. Stack it after lunch or during your walk. 3. Accountability. Join an online English group. Record a voice note every day and send it to a language partner. Track your daily practice on a habit app. See how powerful this is? You're no longer just hoping to be consistent. You're engineering it. Light bulb final thoughts. The formula for consistency. Here's the secret formula. in one sentence. Clarity gives you direction. Simplicity gives you momentum. Accountability gives you endurance. Miss one, and you may struggle. Master all three, and you become unstoppable. So ask yourself, am I clear on what I want? Have I made the process simple and achievable? Do I have a system to keep myself accountable? If you do, then you don't need motivation. You've built a system, and systems win. Rocket your challenge today. Write down one clear goal you want to stay consistent with. Simplify it into a small daily habit you can do in 2 minutes. Choose one accountability method and start tracking. Start now, not next week, not next year, because the most consistent people in the world don't wait for the right moment. They create the right moment by showing up daily.